Hi everyone, and I hope you're all enjoying your Easter and hope you're all keeping safe and staying busy. And what I want to talk about in this video is something that I've already made quite a lot of videos about in terms of communication. And I want to talk about better communication in your relationships. And the reason I talk about this so much is not only because it's really, really important when it comes to couples counselling. It's important when it comes to not just couples, how they communicate, but also in all of your relationships, really. So you'll probably be able to use these tips, not just for you and your partner, but also in your relationships with family, with friends. It applies to it all, really. So what are some of the most common issues that come up when it comes to communication? I've listed a few here. One issue that comes up a lot is bickering constantly. Now, the problem with bickering is there's lots of people, they'll think, oh, it's no big deal. We're just having a bit of banter here and there. We're just bickering. I'm just nagging a little bit, blah, blah. That causes more of an issue for some people than it does to just have massive row, a massive blowout. Because the bickering is like you're constantly pecking at that person. Sometimes they're responding back. Other times they're letting it go, but then it's still affecting them. So what happens is if you continuously bicker with someone and you're moaning, you're just nagging, you're pecking, you're complaining, you're putting them down, it's affecting them. It's kind of like you're what's it called? You're shooting arrows, and sometimes the arrows are like bouncing off, sometimes they're hitting, and you won't know because your partner won't always say to you, that really hurt, because they're sick of hearing it, but also they don't want to say that it's bothering them, so they just ignore, but deep down it's hurt, it's hit them, and then eventually they're going to just get fed up. So bickering, you've just got to be mindful of. You might not see it as a big deal, but your partner might. And the other side of that, the opposite really, is bottling stuff up and then exploding into one big argument. So this comes up a lot in communication issues. So the reason for this is because if something bothers you sometimes, rather than you just saying, last night when you did that, it really got on my nerves. I'm really sick and tired of you doing A, B and C. You don't want to say it because you think it's going to affect your partner. You don't want to say it because of fear of the consequence. If you say this, then it's going to put everyone in a mood for the day. So you don't say it, you bottle it up. And then you have a massive argument a week later where you throw everything in the person's face. Now, the issue with that is your partner is going along thinking everything's fine. Then all of a sudden you do this massive blow up and you throw everything at them. Now imagine how you would feel if you was at work or in a situation where you think everything's going well. Then all of a sudden your boss calls you into the office and says, you're the most rubbish employee. You haven't done A, you haven't done B, you haven't done this. You didn't do this last week, you didn't do that last month, you're behind on this. And you're just sitting there thinking, where did that come from? Because you're not aware of any of this. So that's how it sometimes feels when you just explode in one big argument and throw everything at your partner. So you need to get into a situation where you can effectively communicate what the issue is, but you don't wait and throw it all into one big argument, because it never goes well when you do that. The third issue that can come up for some couples is being on the defensive and not listening. If you're in a relationship that has a history of bad communication, you will always be on edge, because what will happen is you will know that something's coming in a minute. She's going to say something, he's going to say something. So how you're functioning is on the defensive. You're waiting for what they're going to say, and you're getting ready to ignore. You're getting ready to fight back. And it's almost like you're a soldier. You're in battle. You're waiting for the battle to commence. Now, what you have to realise is that if you're in that mode, then you're not listening to what's going to be said. It could be something positive, but you're not going to hear the positive because you're in defensive mode. It could be something that's genuine and authentic and needs to be discussed. You're not ready to hear that because you're in defence mode. So it's partly to do with your partner, how they've been communicating previously to get you to that point, but it's also down to you not being in defensive mode all the time. Because if you can just relax your defences, and when the person is speaking to you, you listen, you receive it. You might not like it, what's been said, so you can respond then by saying, I'm not ready to discuss this right now. You can respond by saying, well, let's talk it through, let's talk about it. Or you can say, I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with it. We're not going to agree on it, so let's agree to disagree. There's lots of ways you can communicate to someone that you're not 100% on board with what they've said. It doesn't always have to lead to an argument. So the fifth one is blaming the person for the issues in the relationship. This is probably one of the worst forms of communication, is where you don't take responsibility for anything that's gone wrong, but also where you're viewing the relationship as two individuals. If there's a problem in your relationship, the problem is affecting both of you. So the way you should always tackle it is, it's our problem, not your problem. If you're in a couple and the person is always saying to you, you're at fault here, the reason this relationship isn't working is because of you. You're the reason we argue all the time. You're the reason the kids are unhappy. You're the reason this. Then all they're going to think about is, well, what am I doing in this relationship? Because if you're blaming me for everything and you're saying that it's falling apart and that you're so unhappy, then why should I be here? So the key thing there is to always try and, when you're putting across what's wrong, look at it as you're a team. You're a team. What are we going to do about this? You know, how has things got to this point in the relationship? Always do it in either a general statement or do it as a we statement rather than you're to blame. So these are 3 quick tips here. Now that I've sort of explained what some of the main common issues are, the quick tips are to say what is bothering you. So you name the feeling. You say, I am upset because we are not as close as we used to be. Now, when you do that, people's guards completely come down, because you're using the I word. You're saying what the issue is, and you're saying how you feel about it. So you're not blaming the other person. You're not going off course and talking about 100 things. You're being clear and direct. Once you've said that, you then say what you would prefer. You need to be specific. So, I am upset because we are not as close as we used to be. I want us to go back to how it was a year ago when we were really close. Or I want us to go back to sleeping in the same room. I don't like us being in separate rooms. I want us to go back to laughing more in the relationship. You give specific examples so your partner can understand what you mean. There's no point saying, we're not close anymore. I want us to be close. Well, okay, how? Give me some examples of what you mean. Then you say what you will do. What you're saying here is, I'm taking responsibility, what I'm going to do. So I am upset because we're not close. I would prefer that we move back into the same room so we can be closer in that sense. I will set up the bedding now in that room so that I can move back in tonight. Then the final thing, what you want your partner to do. I want you to listen to me when I'm talking about blah, 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 whatever it is. So that's really easy ways to communicate. You're not blaming anyone. You're opening up to listening. You accept if your partner doesn't agree with what's been said, but you've laid it all out there. You've said how you feel. You've said what the issue is. You've said what you're going to do. You've said how you want the situation to be, to improve. And you've said what you'd like them to do. It's simple. If you do things like that in your life, whether it's at work, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your friends, your communication will improve. And I've used this myself. I used to have quite a lot of run-ins with different members of my family. I'm from a big family, there's 9 of us. Certain people can wind you up, they know how to press your buttons, and I used to just get caught up in all these arguments and disputes and stuff. Now I'm quite clear. I'll say, I'm upset. I won't say I'm upset, I'll usually say something like, I'm not happy with what you said to me, or I'm hurt by that you would think that way. This is what I'm going to do from now on. When you say that to me, I'm not going to take it personally. Can you please not talk to me in this sort of way, or whatever it is? But it just works better because it's clear communication, it's clear, and it's not blaming. So I hope you found this video useful. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and please feel free to like, to comment, and to share this video if you feel that it will benefit someone. Thank you for watching, and have a great Easter, everyone. Take care. Bye.